discouraged, I weep as I remember all I've done. I'm sure he is angry, for he knows what I've become. And yet he brings me closer in all his tender mercies, I am told. My precious lamb, I still love you, and now I bring you safe back to the fold. It was the voice of the shepherd. He was calling my name. He came and he rescued me, and it's not been the same. He drew me up next to him, and he whispered to me, I left 90 and 9.
Oh, good morning. We want to welcome you into this beautiful Sunday. Thank you for being in church. And to everybody, as we start walking in toward the end of August, I'm reminded how quickly the seasons are changing. I know many have had such a busy month, really a busy summer. Travels and vacations and work and family and some unexpected events and personal needs and just so many things. I can look through every person and think of prayer requests and different needs that have come up over these months, and yet I'm so thankful that we can come together in church. This is the place, if we didn't have this, and I could just speak personally, if I didn't have church, my life would be a mess. My week wouldn't make sense. It's not just a time I come and kind of reset my calendar and say it's Sunday, start of the week. This is a time where relationships with God's people, singing God's music, meditating on His Word, and it doesn't just start right now at 10:30 when we come in. Sunday starts really Saturday night. It's a meditation of the mind. It's getting the body ready. It's getting the clothes laid out. It's getting yourselves quieted down. It's waking up in the morning and rising, knowing this is the day I've set apart to learn of the Lord. And God does a work usually more outside the pew than inside the pew. I think this is the time, kind of like in a athletic event, we huddle up and the coach gets to stand up and say, here's a play and here's a this and here's a that. And then once we leave out, that's when the whole game really takes place. What you do tomorrow and what you do on Tuesday and Wednesday and Friday, and based on what we've learned, based on what the playbook says, that really tells us how the Spirit of God works in our lives. So I'm looking forward to this day in every element. I'll ask you to keep in prayer so many people. We mentioned in Sunday school, and I've heard a few people already even mention this morning, but as I start our service in prayer, would you pray about the country in Afghanistan and the great need, people there, and lives at risk, and just turmoil in the whole region. And we certainly need God in our world. Would you agree? I believe more and more He could come back, not just at any moment, but I believe it's going to be soon. I believe it'll be soon. And wouldn't it be wonderful to say we're on the next train coming out? I wouldn't mind a bit if the Lord blew that trumpet and called us home today. Wouldn't mind if it were this week. But if we should live another 100 years on this earth, let's work ourselves to please the Lord, and let's stay faithful one to another as we'll begin the service with prayer. Our Heavenly Father, I thank you now for this morning. Thank you for bringing us into the house of God. What a needy hour we live in. Lord, around our world we know of instability, we know of chaos, we know what the world has to offer. We know what the world's version of peace looks like. We know what the world's version of joy looks like. We know what the world's version of success looks like, and none of that identifies with your definitions. So God, this morning as a Christian, I pray that you'd give us the peace of God. Lord, as we face day by day into this sin-cursed world, I just ask that your will would be accomplished, that you'd help us to draw courage one from another. And Lord, for those in this room who are dealing with great personal need, some that have a heavy burden on their mind and heart even now, Lord, in the time of this service, would you give your grace and comfort that and bring solution? Some dealing with physical needs, some dealing with family situations, some with financial hardship, some with job and employment difficulties. And Lord, you know about every single person's need. And today I'm praying that this church would be a representation of your goodness and your grace. And would you pour out a blessing upon us so much there's not room enough to receive.